how do you showcase nature, but at the same time, not destroy it? I think a lot of people have tried to promote it, but a lot of the times humans have a interesting way of of destroying in their attempt of creating or an attempt of fixing an issue. So in Ethos and the general efforts, not just Calilo, if you were to summarize all of it, how can you maximize the ability to see nature, to showcase its beauty, but at the same time not distort it in an island where it's really hard to go and see nature
right.
in certain ways. And that's why it's remained so beautifully untouched. But that's what it is, beautifully untouched. And because of that, it's hard for an average lover of the island and tourists to not only know about it, but also visit a lot of it. So how do you promote one without distorting it?
It's a hard balance. I mean, we are committed to build 1% of the areas that we own, which means by definition that, you leave 99% untouched, which means, of course, that, people, for many, many years ahead, they will be able to visit that. To me, what's important is besides that, which is a decision that we took, a few years back, and we're going to stick to it. In our vacations, too often we go for what is easy, and we just, go in a room and go in the swimming pool and just, stay there for a few days instead of just touch the nature which is around us. That's going to be a hard, project to convince people, because it's easy to just say, okay, well, I'm going to build, 1%. And I'm going to leave everything else untouched. But unless people want to go out and really see nature and touch nature and feel the beauty that it has, then we haven't done much. So this is a project, quite frankly, that's going to be in the future to try to induce, in a sense, and incentivize people to do that. And I think it's going to take some time, but we should be fairly optimistic that we'll find ways to just open up venues and at the same time not destroy anything while doing that.
My last question for today, and it's more of a philosophical question surrounding creating a life you can fall in love with. Do you ever actually fall in love with your life? And if you do, doesn't that imply that maybe you stop growing and a little bit of staleness in a way? Or is it kind of a path towards loving your life and it's a constant virtuous circle that, just never ends?
Yeah. Well, I think that we can create our own emotional weather. What I mean by that is that we can make our world within and the world around us as we can fill it with beauty and happiness and sunshine, or we can fill it with sadness, pain, and fog. It's up to us. I mean, every moment, with every word and every deed that we do, we can create a life that is beautiful enough to fall in love with. What's really astonishing is that the more we do that, and the better we become at this, after a while, the easier it gets to really create those positive emotions. And the more positive emotions we create, the happier our life gets. And the happier our life gets, the easier it gets to create more positive emotions and influence also the life of others. So it's a fantastic, virtuous, cycle if you manage to learn yourself, well enough to be able to disarm your weaknesses. That, of course, the last thing they want you to do is create a life that is nice, because they are really trying to create a life which is, sad and failed. So at the moment we do that, then we'll find that the better our life gets and the more beautiful our life gets, the easier it gets to disarm our weaknesses that want to make it uglier. And then our life and the life of people around us becomes better. And then suddenly you create your own emotional weather where it could be, fog all around, yet in that specific spot, it's all, sunshine. And it's amazing because, feelings are so contagious. I mean, you can literally change the emotional state of a room by just, walking in and be very, very positive. and exude, confidence and positivity and kindness. Or you can do exactly the opposite, walk in and be totally threatening, to people, and change the mood of 100 people in a few seconds. So we have a lot more power than we think. We just do not want to acknowledge it, so that we can continue to be, careless about our power, not accepting any responsibilities about how responsible we are for the well-being of the people around us, especially the ones we love, and of course, using excuses to blame everybody else but us, for our own failures. So the moment we accept, that responsibility, for me, in a peculiar way, is a moment where it sounds that it's binding and hard and limiting, but it's exactly the opposite. It's absolute freedom, because the moment that you feel so confident that you can deal with any hardship that comes, your way, then you feel absolutely free to achieve any dream that you have. And the moment you feel so confident, then, people around you as well, feel that confidence actually, and then you do create a domino of positivity, and suddenly you have people around you that are creating a life which is much better than it was just a few minutes ago.
So in a way, it's a truthful, kind, beautiful voyage leads to a truthful, kind, beautiful destination.
Well, we make our destinations. It's very important that we, find, who we are. And the moment we do that, then we know what our destination is. And people who are lost, they were not born, lost. They just got lost because, they filled their lives with so many lies that after a while, every lie is darkness. With every lie, we make our lives darker. And with every truth we say to ourselves, we illuminate our lives a little bit more by discovering, who we are. And that gives us actually more, strength to deal with our weaknesses. And then suddenly we find ourselves actually after a while being, very, very confident about, how we can deal with any hardship. And the moment we do that, we trust ourselves, and then, things do become easier, because our relationships become easier because we trust others. And then people go from being enemies to, friends.